I have been a people pleaser my entire life. For a while, my very top priority was to be well liked. However, as they say, a friend to all is a friend to none, and being overly concerned with outside perception can dilute the impact you and your work can have. Hello, I'm Nora Kate. I'm a college student studying songwriting who is interested in basically every aspect of the performing arts as well as writing. My channel is all about the struggle of being a young creator, how to feel like your unique voice is actually being heard, and the lifestyle that helps me perform best in my craft. Okay, today we are talking about people pleasing, being too concerned with people and what they think about you and what they think about your work, and the fear and the reality that people might hate you and they might not like what you're doing and they might hate what you create. And that is just a possibility out there and you can't control it. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about when talking about this is it is literally impossible to please everyone, and this concept can even be applied to simple inconsequential matters. Not everyone likes the same foods, colors, or movie categories. What we like and dislike is what makes our personalities, and it's what makes us different. And you cannot please everybody. You can't be everyone's cup of tea. You can't be everyone's cup of tea in the same way that red is not everyone's favorite color. Not everyone is going to agree with you or your creative perspective, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong or bad about you that you need to change. Just because someone doesn't agree with what you're doing doesn't mean you need to change what you're doing, or just because someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean you need to become a whole new person. Polarization also creates personality. Like I was saying, middling opinions and views are boring. Have you ever talked to someone who doesn't really have a stance on anything and just agrees with everything you're saying? They're not a very fun person to talk to. Fun people to talk to have opinions and they have takes on things. I know my favorite friends to talk to are the ones that have hot takes on things and the ones that are passionate about certain topics. And this is the same way that when people create things that have a stance and have a perspective, it's much more interesting than things that are just in the middle and are for everyone. And if we take this back to the small matters example, vanilla and chocolate ice cream are two very well liked flavors of ice cream, but they're not the most interesting. They're the most boring flavors of ice cream. If you were starting an ice cream shop and you were so excited about it and you're like, I get to have all the creative decisions, it would be really boring to just keep vanilla and chocolate ice cream in your ice cream shop. Think about it. If you are putting so much work into this ice cream shop and this is your passion, and you're starting it and you want to make all these kind of flavors, but you're too scared and you're like, what if no one likes them? It would be so sad if you made that ice cream shop and because you were scared, you decided, actually, no, the only two flavors we're going to keep are vanilla and chocolate, and that's it. Think about how sad that would be. That's the same with what you are creating and what you're making. Don't decide that just because you're scared, people won't like it. Don't dilute your work in that way or dilute your personality. If you never take a stance on anything, never choose a distinct personal style, never take a risk artistically, you'll never be able to exist as who you are authentically. Choices are what makes something colorful and unique, and it's what makes art meaningful and worth consuming. Art is so amazing because it makes you think. Content is so amazing because it makes you think and it has perspective and it has a stance. We don't want things that are boring that everyone likes. We want to look at something and be like, I don't know how I feel about that, and that's made me think differently. And some people are going to look at what you create, they're going to think, I really don't like that. But some people are going to look at it and just love it, and it's going to change the way that they are, and it's going to change the way that they think. Another thing we need to talk about is that one person's opinion is not Bible. It's not truth. I think for me, there was also a tendency to think one person's negative opinion of me was automatically true when I was in that people pleaser mindset. And it impacted me so deeply that I was so concerned with the idea of doing anything wrong or bad for them to think that way, that I immediately took what they said and attempted to change it. I was like, okay, what they don't think makes me a bad person, so I need to change this right now. And I was so upset about the idea of anyone thinking I was a bad person or I was doing something wrong or I was stupid or whatever. You can't let what you do and who you are become a tug of war between you and other people's opinions and judgments. You can't let's say it's a tug of war and you're on one side and this is you and your identity and what you want to do. You can't let every single negative comment just pull you to the other side and pull you whatever which way, because then you lose your identity and you lose who you are. And that's not very nice. You're not being very nice to yourself when you do that. No one has everything figured out. Not even the most knowledgeable experts know everything about their respective fields of of study. So take every comment with a grain of salt. And if it's constructive criticism, then great. But if it's negatively impacting you and changing something that you don't want to change, one person's opinion is not Bible. I think we often let the words hold more weight when they come from someone who is either older than us or holds some kind of position of authority. I remember when I was younger and a teenager and I was making music, I think if someone was like an established person in their career and they were an adult rather than a kid like me, I would take their opinion more seriously. And if it was like my teacher or something like that, or my voice coach, I would take that opinion a lot more seriously than not. And a lot of times we don't need to be doing this, because just because someone's an adult or they're older than us doesn't mean they know better. They've just had more experience, but that doesn't always mean that they know more than you. Okay, the biggest thing I want to hammer home in this video, if you take nothing else from it, is that you have to be more loyal to your mission than to your reputation and to your ego. This is so important. Whatever project you are working on or whoever you are trying to become, you most likely have a mission or a reason behind it, and this mission is probably very important to you. And by worrying too much about what others think of you, you are prioritizing your ego and your reputation over this mission you are very passionate about. Like I was talking about the example of the ice cream shop, it would be so sad if you put all your work and hard work into this ice cream shop and you were thinking you were gonna do all these cool flavors and you were gonna decorate it this cool way, but you got too scared because someone told you that good ice cream shops only have chocolate and vanilla and have white walls and are basic. So then you made your ice cream shop only chocolate and vanilla and it had plain white walls. That would be so sad. And it wouldn't be nice to yourself. If you're that ice cream shop creator, you're not being loyal to that dream you've had for so long. You need to be loyal to your dream and your passions. Also, on this point, by being loyal to your missions and goals, you are also showing loyalty to your authentic self. And this mindset can also give you a boost of motivation when you start to feel affected by others. When you're letting these opinions get to you, and when I was letting these opinions get to me, it was really helpful to think about, if I did do what I wanted to do, how many people I could be helping positively. And if I changed what I was doing and I prioritized my ego, those people would not be impacted positively and those people would not be helped. So it's also good to think about it in that way. But overall, prioritize your missions and your goal over your reputation and your ego, because they're more important. They're so much more important. Okay, next, get comfortable in the gray area. There is a gray area where certain things and ideas don't hurt anyone, but they are also debated on. If we look at simple things like colors, for an example, having a favorite color and wearing a favorite color all the time, if I only wore like royal purple all the time, that's not hurting anyone, but it's controversial and people will be like, oh, why is she wearing purple all the time? These are things that fit into the gray area, right? We all have opinions on things that fit into this area, and that is totally normal, and some people feel more strongly about certain things in this category for one reason or another. And when we think about that example with wearing purple all the time, maybe someone got in a really bad car accident one time, and the car that hit them was the same color purple that I wear all the time. They might see me wearing that color purple all the time and have a strong reaction and react really negatively to that because it reminds them of that car. I know this is like a stupid example, but I hope it makes sense. It's not always about you. Most of the time, someone feeling strongly about a topic has nothing to do with you and has everything to do with who they are and what they have experienced. By leaning into this gray area, we can explore more parts of ourselves, get more comfortable in our own identities, and create better art. The best movies, the best songs, anything like that, really know how to be comfortable and sit in this gray area and make you think and make people debate topics. They're just amazing in that way. The last thing I want to talk about is don't surround yourself with unnecessary negativity. A lot of the time, I have stayed in situations that have a lot of toxicity and negativity that I didn't need to stay in. Sometimes there are negative people you can't separate yourself from, like family or coworkers. So obviously in those situations, you just have to do your best to not let it affect you because you can't really get away from those people. But other times we choose to surround ourselves with people who do not share the same outlook as we do. And I don't think a lot of times we realize that we are choosing to stay in those situations and we can get out of it. Especially if you've been in the same community for a really long time, or you've been friends with people for a long time, you don't realize that you are actively choosing to do that, and you can get out of that. It's like people say, don't let life just happen to you, live your life, make your own decisions. So this can look like unsupportive friends, community, or even culture or environment where you live. It is okay to take yourself out of these situations and put yourself into something that aligns with you more if you are able to. Okay, I had so much fun talking about this video. I love this topic. I think it's so important. If you like this video or have any questions or just want to chat, make sure to leave a comment below. I recently posted a video about the struggle of feeling overshadowed as a small content creator, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already. I have a humongous goal to grow this channel and this community to 100,000 subscribers sometime in the future, so if you feel so inclined to subscribe, just go ahead and do that. I also really want this to be a safe space and a place of inspiration and something that the audience and community just really makes together and contributes to it. So if there's any ideas or videos you want me to make, just let me know. And I hope you have a good day. Bye bye.